Good afternoon, family and friends. This is Mommy of Two, Wife of One. It is August 25th, 2015 at 4:23 p.m. And this week's video is going to be all about back to school. A lot of people on my Facebook timeline sent their children back to school today. Some sent them back yesterday. My son will be entering the first grade on Monday, August 31st. So this video is going to be all about preparing for back to school and just a couple tips on how to stay organized and how to remain involved from the first day of school to the last day of school. So one thing that I did last year that I plan on doing again this year, my son's last year, his favorite color was orange, and I made sure for the first day of school that he wore an orange shirt. And something like that seems kind of simple and silly, but for me, the color orange at the time made him happy and made him feel confident, and it made him excited. So I wanted his first day of kindergarten in a new school with a lot more people. I wanted him to already walk in feeling confident and feeling excited about what the year was going to bring. And coincidentally, his kindergarten teacher was also wearing orange, so I thought that was a really good time. So this year's favorite color is green. That's what he's going to wear on Monday. Nice crisp green, freshly ironed shirt with his shorts and his shoes, so he can walk in ready to start a new year, ready to make some new friends, and just ready to become a first grader and just be the best first grader that he can be. One thing that I want to show you guys, and I've never seen me really advertise any kind of product or anything, but this is just really great. You guys heard me, if you've been following my video blog, you heard me mention an organization called Mocha Moms Inc. And so I got this little wonderful, exceptional tool from a woman that I met in Mocha Moms. Her name is Vita Cash. That's V-E-T-T-A. Last name Cash, C-A-S-H. She is an education consultant. There's one thing that I purchased from her website last year. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a binder. It's an education binder. And when you open it up, it has tips here on how to continue to motivate your children and to keep them focused throughout the school year and to keep you organized as well as a parent. There are different tabs in here. The first tab is all about the school information, so that would include the address of the school, certain numbers for not only your child's teacher but also all the adults in the school that your child interacts with, like the gym teacher, the art teacher, the principal, perhaps the counselor, just so you can have all those numbers in one place as opposed to going through the website and having to click on a bunch of different pages to get the information that you need. There's also a tab here for academics, and that's where you have a list of the school clubs and activities that your child is a part of, when they meet, do they have to take the bus, do they need special materials for that particular club or activity. Also has a list of their friends. When your children are a little older, my child doesn't really go through this because it's only 6, but if your children are older, you may have slumber parties and you may have sleepovers that either your child will participate in by going to their house or they're coming to your house. So it's important, obviously, if your child is around other kids and other parents and they're spending the night, you need to have the names and the phone numbers of these friends, of their parents, where they live. If you have the friends coming to your house, you need to make sure you write down if children are allergic to certain things and still have the name and the number of their parent as well. The next tab on here has to do with extracurricular tab. Now this isn't related to activities connected to the school, but for instance, last year my son took violin lessons and he also took basketball. So I had all that information in this particular tab, just a list of the schedule for basketball, a list of the class times for violin, and again, any materials that he may need, any certificates that he received went in that tab. And the last tab is the PTA tab, and that's one I'm very, very passionate about because this year is my first year being on the PTA board. I'm the secretary for my son's PTA. So in this particular tab, I'm going to have a list of the schedule of all of our events. Most likely for myself, I'm also going to have the minutes from our PTA board meetings so I can keep those all in one place. Also have the mission statement of the PTA and the list of all of the PTA meetings I will have for the rest of the year. So this is a wonderful tool to have for someone like me who writes everything down, who likes to have everything in one place, who likes to be organized and make sure that I have all my stuff together. And that's in this. Look up Vita Cash, V-E-T-T-A, first name, last name Cash, C-A-S-H, education consultant. Google her. She's on Facebook. She is amazing and phenomenal. And this binder, I lived by it all of last year. As you can see, it's empty now. I'm going to add all new stuff for the new school year, but this really helped me out. If you have more than one child, I would suggest getting one for each child. So that's my little plug for that. One thing I asked on Facebook today, I asked my Facebook friends to let me know what their biggest prayer is for their children as they head into a new school year. And I didn't get too many responses, but one response that I got most often I guess, was a prayer for their child to stay focused. As children and even as adults, we can get distracted by so many things. We send our children to school so that they can primarily learn, academically learn new things, how to read, how to write, how to add, how to subtract, how to do a science experiment, how to draw a picture, all that stuff. But obviously they also learn a lot of social skills, how to share, how to take turns, how to become a leader. They're learning a lot of different things, and even though that's their main goal in going to school, you get distracted by other things. When your children are a little older, you may get distracted by gossip. You may get distracted by what other kids are wearing. Fortunately, my child doesn't go to a school where they wear uniforms, but he's also at that age where he doesn't care what anybody else is wearing. He's 6. He could care less. But if your child happens to be, let's say, 10 years old, and they don't go to uniform school, they may get distracted by what everyone else is wearing, and it could distract them from their classwork, distract them from what they're there to do. So your biggest prayer is making sure your child is focused. The binder is for you to stay focused, but it's your job as a parent to help your child stay focused by coming up with a schedule for them. Now, obviously, we cannot be in the schools with them all day, so all we can do is control the time that we are around them. When they come home from school, don't immediately let them get on their iPad, get on their other electronic tablet, turn on the TV. Make sure you still have a schedule for them once they get out of school. Everything in school is stringent, and they have a schedule, and they have times when they have to go to a certain classroom, times when they eat, and all that stuff. So make sure you continue to have a schedule when they get out of school. And it doesn't have to be as stringent as school, but I think it's important to understand that these children need structure in their lives, and it can still be fun structure, but they still need structure. So for my son, when he comes home from school that's out at 3:25, he can come home, he'll have a snack, we'll more than likely have some Bible study time, we'll practice tying his shoe because he still has difficulty with that. We may talk about what he did that day. My son, for some reason, forgets the things that he's done the day before, so I'm trying to get in the habit of having him keep a journal where he'll either write or draw a picture of the things that he did that day, so that he won't forget, and he can look back and say, wow, I remember last week I did go to the park, and I did read this new book, and I did do other things. So that's the way I think to keep them focused. Homework always comes first. Sit down and help your child with their homework. If you have difficulty helping them, reach out to their teacher. That's what they're there for. That comes to my next point when it comes to back to school. Make sure that as soon as possible you find out who your child's teacher is. Some schools will have an open house before school starts so that you can come and meet the teacher, find out who they are, see where your child's classroom is. If they don't have that in place, as soon as you find out who the teacher is, it's very easy to go to the school's website to get that teacher's email address. Just send them a nice email saying, hi, my son or daughter is going to be in your class this year. I just want to introduce myself, and I just wanted to find out how you and I can work together to make sure my child has a successful school year. I think it's very important to understand that the teacher is there to help you raise this son or daughter to be a responsible citizen. They're not there to take the place of you. They're not there to raise your child themselves. Once your child goes to school, they will see your child more than you will. So it's important that you and that teacher are on the same wavelength. One thing that Mocha Mom told me before is that it's really important to establish your team of people who are going to help you with your child. That's why it says it takes a village to raise a child, and it really does. And it's important that whoever is on your team, whether it's you, your spouse, your pastor, your child's teacher, if your child's in an extracurricular activity, it could be the person who's the director of that activity, whoever it is in your child's life who is helping to raise your child and who is spending an adequate amount of time with the child, all of you all need to be on the same page in terms of what do we need to do to make sure this child is doing okay. If your child is failing math, you should not be the only person helping that child with math problems and giving them impromptu math problems and creating situations where they have to employ mathematical skills. That is going to be the job of everyone on your team. If your child comes home and they say, Mom, I'm failing math, the first thing you do is you get on the phone, you call your team members, whoever they are, say, hey guys, Matt is having difficulty with math. We need to make sure we help him out. So these are the problems he's having issues with. He's not very good at problem solving. He's having problem counting money or whatever the situation is. And make sure that whenever Matt is around those other team members, that they are helping him. They're giving him problems. They're giving him life lessons to make him use his mathematical things. You know, it's very important that everyone's on the same page when it comes to your child. For back to school, make sure you start them off with a very, you know, hearty breakfast. Nothing too heavy that's going to send their stomach, but make sure they have a nice, good breakfast before they leave the house. Make sure you iron their clothes the night before. If your children are young and don't know how to iron yet, make sure you have plenty of gas in your car. Make sure your children know the bus route if they're going to take the bus. Make sure you double check to make sure their book bag is packed. It doesn't have to be packed with every single school supply that was on that list, but if nothing else, they need to be sent with some pencils and sent with some form of paper, whether it's a composition book or some loose leaf paper or a folder or a binder. Just make sure they have the essentials. Make sure, obviously, that they are clean, that they've showered or they've taken a bath. Make sure their hair is done. Make sure the clothes especially the new clothes, don't have any tags on them. These are obviously, you know, things that I'm sure all of you parents out there know, but I'm very excited about back to school, and I want to make sure that you guys are excited as well, and that you guys do what you can to make sure your children are excited. Make sure you pray with your child. If you are a praying parent, I won't assume that all of you pray, but if you are a praying parent, make sure you take the time to pray with your child. Preferably the whole family, everyone in your household needs to gather around that child and lay your hands on them and pray, not just for them to be safe in the school, because we all want that as well. Pray for your child to be safe. Pray for all the children and all the teachers in the school to be safe. Pray that your child will be able to stand on their own, that they won't yield to any kind of negative peer pressure. Pray for your child's future friends, for your child, not just your child's teacher this year, but pray for all the teachers that he's going to come across this school year. Again, like the art teacher, the gym teacher, science teacher, especially once they get to middle and high school and they have several teachers in one day. But pray that your child will be patient with other people, especially as your child learns new things, and pray that all of these adults will be patient with your child to understand that children learn in different times, they learn in different ways. So pray for patience, pray for understanding from the teacher's perspective, pray for just overall an awesome school year for everyone involved. And not just pray for your child's school, pray for other schools in your area. Pray for the crossing guards, that they're safe when they're out there making sure that our children cross the street safely. Pray for the bus drivers, that they remain awake and alert and taking your child to and from school. Pray for the custodians who have to be there very early in the morning or very late at night, making sure that there's no mold and there's no dust there that can make our children sick. You know, just in general, again, if you are a praying person, praying woman or man or whatever, make sure you are deep in prayer, not just the first day of school, but every day. And make sure that you are involved, again, from the first day of school to the last day of school. Join your PTA. Make sure you know what's going on. Make sure you know where the money is going towards in terms of events and things that they have at the school. Make sure you understand exactly what's happening at that school, because your child is spending a bulk of their time there from August until May. You need to know what's happening in that school. So that's it for me today. I know this was a pretty lengthy video, but again, I hope that you are excited about back to school. If your child hasn't gone back to school already, I pray for all of you that you guys have a successful school year, that you as parents will remain involved from the very beginning. I pray for the teachers out there who just work tirelessly to instill knowledge into our children and who have to deal with stuff that we don't necessarily have to deal with during the day. So I thank you, teachers, for heeding the call to teach our youth. I thank you for all of the kids who are out there. You know, I pray that they're safe. I pray that they will take the time to learn. I pray that they'll be patient with each other and they'll lift each other up instead of tearing each other down. So again, this is Mommy of 2, Wife of 1, and I will see you next week.